Hi everyone, my name is Charlie, and I'm recording this video straight after my Silkworm review because today I have a review of Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith, the third book in the Cormoran Strike series. So if you have watched my review of the Silkworm, then you know I didn't particularly care for that book. So I really was only reading this book because I want to again, just get through more books on my shelf, and I thought I may as well just read it straight away. This book begins with Robin receiving a severed leg in the post, and then they've got to investigate whose leg it is, why somebody's sending it to her, and is the person whose leg it is alive or dead. This book discusses more of Strike's history, which once again is something that happens a lot within crime fiction, and I kind of hope for something different. Of course we wish to explore the detective's past, considering he is such a dark character, but once again this book is filled with so much exposition and so much telling, and again could have been cut down by so much if the writer didn't wish to be so grandiloquent and pretending like she is doing something so profound and different when she isn't. And there are so many unnecessary words there. Like, I understand wanting to use smart words if you know them, but what's the point? Just say it in a more understandable way and stop keeping the narrative so far removed from the reader, because writing is such a strict, very stiff prose. The writer is writing in such stiff prose that keeps the reader at arm's length, and the mystery in this book is actually somewhat different to what we have seen in the previous two books. But once again, Strike gives you a number of suspects, and then he goes off and investigates each subject, and you as the reader aren't really given any chance to figure out what's happened yourself. You've just got to hope that it's going to turn out well in the end. And once again, well, not once again, but here I don't really feel like we were given any resolution to the mystery or any reveal as to why the crime was committed. I feel like it was just, here's the culprit, jog on, and then included something about the relationship again. And if your romantic subplot is that necessary that you have to undermine the main plot to shoehorn it in there, then I'm not going to be happy about it. And that is what keeps happening more and more in this book, so much so that I don't actually feel like we're getting crime novels anymore. I feel like we're just getting Mills and Boon. I feel like we're just getting the darker, grittier Mills and Boon books where you have the heroic saviour coming to rescue Robin, and although you can say that Robin has her self-defence and she has her advanced driver's course behind her, there is still so much of Strike wanting to rescue her and wanting her to be a victim. And something that we have revealed about Robin's character within this book furthers the idea that she will always be a victim. And I know that the writer was trying to combat that by saying, look at this character, this isn't what she wants. She can be respected, she can do all these things and not be fearful. And I understand that. I just don't feel like it was achieved that well because there was not enough time focused to showing us that Robin is a strong character within her own right, and that she didn't always need someone to come to her aid. And although she is able to achieve things on her own and look after herself, there's this constant thing of Strike being there controlling her. I also have begun to get really annoyed at the soap opera style writing within these stories. You were getting very short chapters, and at one point there was a fight scene and I was like, what is going on here? This does not match up with anything that has happened within these books so far, apart from to add some action, because it isn't there throughout the entirety of these books. These books are so prosaic and so dull that they do often resort to soap opera style resolutions in order to achieve something, and I'm not a fan of these books at all. I have been considering giving them to the charity shop, but as I do own all the other books by the writer, I'm not sure whether I will, but I'm also not sure whether I will continue reading any more books in this series, because I don't think that they are the writer's best work by any means. Another aspect that I wanted to talk about in this book was its villains, because it is now becoming apparent that the only way this writer can write a villain is by giving them some visible ugliness or some deformity in order that the reader can understand that they are a villain, because the evil within them is always going to be striving to come out in some way. So it is very clear to you who the murderer or who the more villainous characters are going to be, because there's always going to be some physical defect with them. And I think it's a very poor choice. And if you look at the children's books that she's written, yes, you can understand why the writer would do that in a children's book, because they are for children. But we are adults now, and I would prefer to have villains that aren't always shown to be ugly or deformed, or to have some physical ailment that has turned them into a villain, because not everyone who has these problems is going to be a villain. And also it's very amateurish and dull, and I just don't see why you would include that in your fiction, but that's just me. That was Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. If you have any thoughts about this book and would like to discuss it, please feel free to do so in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, that is all.